Welcome to Mishna study Masachet Shekalim Perek Mishna Gimal. Over here in this Mishnah, we're going to discuss the 4 seals in the Hamikdash, right? So we said there's 4 types of seals, tickets. We'll see exactly what they do, but there'd be 4 of them. What are these 4? So they're different for different libations, right? If you come to the Bet Hamikdash and you're going and you're bringing a sheep with you, with that sheep, you need to go ahead and bring an isaron of solet, right? 1 isaron. Isaron literally means a tenth, right? Of solet, and you need to bring a quarter of a hin of wine and a quarter of a hin of oil, right? A quarter of a hin is about 1 liter. So that's what you need to bring with your korban. Now, where do you get this from? So they would provide this in the Bet HaMikdash. You'd have to pay for it. You get the seal, and then you take the seal and you redeem it, closer, to where you pick up the oil, wine, and the solet and the fine flour. Now, there are different measurements, and they would have them prepared for you. And as we'll see in our Mishnah, there's 4 different types of measurements that you could possibly get. It's going to depend on what type of animal you bring. So that's going to be our Mishnah. So there are 4 types of seals in the Bet HaMikdash. It would say on it egel, right, which is literally cattle. Zachar, right? Zachar is really a ram, right? Zachar means a male, right? So it's a male, really a male sheep above 2 years old is considered a ram in the Torah. Gedi, right? Right, gedi is includes the goats, the sheep, right? That's what's all included in that. Vechoteh, choteh is considered a mitzorah. As we'll see, a mitzorah is the only time that anyone who's bringing a hatata or an asham has to bring any type of libation, solet or oil with it. Right, all of the hataot and ashamot, you never bring any flour with that. Right? Only when it comes to a mitzvah. So Ben Azai Omer, Hamishayu, there was 5. V'aramit katuv alehem. Also another difference, it wouldn't be said in Hebrew, it's said in Aramaic. Egel dechar, right? Dechar is Aramaic for zachar. Gedi, chotedal, v'chote ashir. Right? So we'd have a chotedal and chote ashir. It would be different if someone the Metzorah himself, when he has to come at the end, so he brings 3 animals. One's a hatat, one's an asham, and the third is a olah, right? Olah, hatat, and asham. Now, let's say he couldn't afford to bring 3 animals like that, so he would bring 1 keves as the asham. He still needs to bring a sheep as an asham, but then he would also bring an isaron of solet and 2 birds, right? 2, torim or bnei ona, turtle doves or doves, and that's you 2 bring instead, right? So over here he has them as listed as 5. Tanakama argues. Tanakama says unnecessary. You don't have to mention all 5 categories because they overlap, right? You don't have to mention the chote dal and chote ashir. They're all right. It's inclusive. Okay, so now the Mishnah continues and says, Egel, what was it for? Mishamesh l'niske bakar. Egel's cattle will be good for all the nesachim of the bakar. We know bakar when someone brings cattle, so he needs to bring a hatzi ahin, right? When he brings cattle, he'd have to bring first of all shlosha isurim, 3 tenths solet. That's balul. Let's mix it with shemen hatzi ahin ve'yain lanes hatzi ahin, right? So half of a hin. Okay, that's the proportion. Now, when it comes to right, and you bring gidulim tanim zacharim u'kevot, you could bring them big, small, male or female, right? Big, small, male, or female. It really depends on the korban you're bringing, right? If you're bringing a olah, right, then it has to come from the zecharim. If you're bringing niske shelamim, right, then it could come from even nekevot, right? They come from olah, come from female or male animals. Okay, the next one, the second seal would be gedi, right? Gedi. Sheep. That would mishamesh l'chseson. This would be for all types of sheep, and this would be right as the Torah mentions. Right, we're just really quoting the Pesukim in the Torah. This would be you have to bring an isaron solet, a tenth, right, of flour, and then that's also mixed with a quarter of a hin of wine, a quarter of a hin of oil. That's also brought from Gidulim Tanim, Zacharim Kevot, Chutz Mishel Elim, except for the Elim, right? Ayil ram is a type of sheep, but once it's 2 years old, it's considered its own category, and Ayil Mishemesh Elim Bilvad, ayil, the seal that said ayil, the third one, that would be only for any rams, right? And as we know, that's 2/10, right? Two esronim, so that it's also balul in a third of shemen, and you have a third of wine. And then the last one is the hoteh. Hoteh, again, as we said, is a metzorah, right? Because usually a person becomes metzorah because he sinned, right? Most commonly speaking, Lashon hara, but the Gemara actually brings 6 other reasons of why someone could become a metzorah. And over here, he would bring the nesachim for the 3 behemot of the metzorah, right? You have to bring it for the 3 animals of the metzorah itself. As we mentioned, there's the olah, the hatat, and the asham, right? All those 3 animals, and that's what he would have to bring these 4. So as we mentioned, there are 4 different categories, 4 different measurements, and that's why there are 4 different types of seals in the Beit HaMikdash corresponding to all these korbanot and people.